Coach Greg, aka Greg Doucette, famous fitness YouTuber, decided to get his hair back in Turkey more than a year ago, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the good and bad of his hair transplant result. And before we start, as always, shout out to our sponsor GoFiber. These are hair building fibers you can use to mask any thinning or patchy areas on your scalp to make your hair look thicker and better. So make sure you check out the link in the video description below where you can visit GoFiber, get a free sample of your choice and try them out. See if you like them. So this is Greg's hairline shortly before getting his hair back in Turkey, and he's 45 or 46 in this video. So again, if we compare it to when he was like Norwood 1 with the sharper edge in his hairline, I mean, I'm not seeing so much worsening here. He has that nice hair texture that is not entirely straight. He doesn't have super thick hair, but it's also not the finest hair. On the texture scale from 1 to 4C, he will be somewhere between 2B or 2C, somewhere in the middle. So the hair has the nice curl once it grows longer. And altogether, with not having too much hair loss to begin with, like being between Norwood 2 and Norwood 3 on the Norwood scale with some little vertex thinning, it made him a really good hair transplant candidate in my eyes. Now here you can see him with the freshly grafted area on the front. You can see also they took the hair from the back. It was the FUE. That's what they do in Turkey. If you go there, they only specialize in FUE. They do not specialize in FUT anymore. Although there are some clinics in Turkey that offer FUT, I would not advise those because again, the number of patients that they do on a yearly basis for FUT in Turkey, it's very, very minimal. So the further evolution and regular practice of the FUT in Turkey is being impaired because of that. And if I look at the grafted area from here to my eye, it could look like 2,400-ish grafts, something around there, but definitely not more. They decided to do like a, straighter hairline, as you can see here. What we can already start seeing here that, yes, the hairline is straight. The hairline is something what he used to have, and that's what he chose, I assume, so that's why they did it. I can see that the left corner is a little bit lower than the right corner, okay? If we look at the hairline, it's straight, but it kind of, goes a little bit up on the right corner. It could have been done more symmetrical in my opinion. Now, what I unfortunately already see is the lack of micro irregularity. That means that the hairline is too straight. It doesn't have the softness in it that it should have in my opinion, and that might be because there are doubles and triple grafts in the hairline that obviously make it look fuller, and they will make it look dense, like rows of trees growing from your hairline. So people will see like, okay, it's full, it's dense, no debate about it, but it may not be the most natural one, okay? He has more hair than before. There is hair regrowth from the transplanted hair, so it seems like the transplant worked. But then if you fast forward 14 months later, you can see how there is an obvious straight portion of that hairline in the middle that is just looking super obvious, and it's looking far from undetectable hair transplant. Unfortunately, I have to tell that from all of the influencers and YouTubers, including Mike Milak, Brad Maverick, guys that we have covered on the channel before, Greg's hair transplant is looking the most obvious, the most detectable, and I think it will require correction, adding single follicular units. These are grafts producing only single hairs into the hairline. You'll probably need a good amount of those, probably 300, 400-ish, to make it way more softer, to create more micro irregularity in the hairline. By that I mean clusters of single grafts randomly placed around the hairline. Some of them are a little bit ahead of the hairline, some of them are a little bit kind of right on the hairline, and that's how you create that softer, very hard to detect type of hairline look. By looking at this 6-month result of a client of mine, you will better understand how combining single graft placement in the hairline with the right angles and hair directions can result in a supernatural buzz cut. For the buzz cut to look natural and full, the dense packing of the grafts during the transplant and their survival rate need to be both excellent for that buzz cut to look natural 12 months later. Well, obviously, this was only 6-month result and everything should look better, fuller and more natural 14 months after the hair transplant, right? Unfortunately, as you see here, things have not improved so much, and it seems like there was barely 10 to 15% more growth between month 6 and month 14. The hairline did not really become fuller or more natural. It actually looked more full and defined 2 to 3 weeks after the operation. And that's why I think the bigger issue here was not that it was not packed densely enough, but it might be the lower survival rate of the grafts that disrupted the aesthetics of the transplanted hairline that the clinic originally wanted to achieve. If you don't get a full survival of those grafts, and there might be different reasons for it. It could be like mishandling the grafts. It may be, incorrectly creating the incisions that are maybe very tight, or they are just not deep enough. And if you want to know all of the most likely reasons why the hair transplant may fail, go ahead and watch this video later. Although I am critical, I'm not trying to come off as negative towards Coach Greg. I'm not trying to put him down or anything like that. In fact, I have made a similar mistake in the past when I went to a clinic that was not that optimal back in 2017, and my hairline did look kind of similarly, and it needed to be corrected. Right now it's corrected, it's looking better, but before it did not. Now what surprises me is that, considering this was already done in late 2021, like 4 years after my first visit to Turkey, I'm surprised that his hairline still is looking like that. Considering the clinic really knew who Coach Greg is, like knew what a reach he has and how much influence he has, right? So I wonder why they did not do this more on point. Considering how much they grafted that area, how much they put on the sides and on the front, this area should have looked much more thicker, and I'm just not seeing this. I'm just not seeing the density that has been grafted there, a year ago, and especially when he's exposing it that way. Now, as far as the donor area where they harvested, my opinion, around 2,400 grafts, this is a picture he posted January 20, and you can notice how they harvested the grafts. They actually harvested quite a bit from the sides, and they also went quite low on the almost close to the ear, which is very untypical to me, considering this was his first surgery. It was a minor surgery, rather minor. Why they didn't go way more on the back, on the occipital region, but I have never really seen his donor area before. It can actually be, guys, that his donor was just average. I am not excluding that, because it seems like this is looking like pretty harvested to me. I don't want to say severely over-harvested. Minor over-harvesting might be there, but it's because probably his donor was not that strong. But again, normally after getting 2,400 grafts on the first surgery with only average donor, it shouldn't look like this on the sides, because again, most of the hairs should be actually harvested from the back, which I don't know if they did or did not. The positive thing at the end is that this hairline could be corrected and it could look way, way better. It's up for Coach Greg to decide whether he's happy with this hairline or he would wish to, make it look more natural and more undetectable. If you know him, you can show him this video and maybe he will reconsider his things. Maybe he will even consult me for help, and I will be happy to do that. For more info about my one-on-one consulting services, check out the link in the video description below, where you can learn more about how I can help you out one-on-one, reach your hair goals faster and more efficiently without bad mistakes costing you stress, money and time. That was it from me, guys. See you in the next video. Take care.